Republican lawmakers continue efforts to normalize what happened with a mix of denials and conspiracy theories.
Some of the people who breached the Capitol today were not Trump supporters.
I knew those are people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement, would never do anything to break a law, and so I wasn't concerned.
They include Paul Gosar, who'd been at the Trump rally.
The DOJ is harassing peaceful patriots across the country.
And Andrew Clyde, who we saw earlier, standing just a few feet from rioters.
There was no insurrection, and to call it an insurrection, in my opinion, is a bold-faced lie.
That was a clip from the New York Times in-depth video investigation into the Capitol insurrection. The Times Visual Investigations team reviewed thousands of videos from that day. It's part of a 40-minute panoramic look into the Capitol riot. The goal was to get a more complete understanding of what really happened. For more on what the investigation uncovered, I want to bring in Haley Willis. She is a visual investigations reporter for the New York Times. Haley, great to see you. Thanks for being with us. You know, it's really startling watching the footage from that day, even 6 months after the riot. I'm wondering, you know, what is behind, do you think, Republican lawmakers downplaying the events of that day and the refusal to cooperate with efforts to investigate that insurrection?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you so much for having me. I think, you know, it's hard for me as someone who's not a political analyst to comment on what is, you know, the mindset of these Republican lawmakers. But what we've certainly seen are denials that do not align with the evidence that our team has collected. For example, claims that these were not Trump supporters who were involved in this, but, you know, perhaps bad actors involved with the crowd. That's not something we found evidence of. These claims that this was a tourist visit, any other tourist visit, when in fact we tracked a significant amount of violence. We saw people breaching the Capitol in 8 locations. This is not the way a normal tourist visit would be conducted, and it's disturbing to see these narratives go around from lawmakers when that's clearly not what the evidence shows took place.
Yeah, on that note, I want to play a clip which seems to illustrate the level of organization of the so-called Oath Keepers just before the Capitol was stormed. Take a look.
They're organised, staging their military-style equipment neatly on the ground. And later, they put on body armour, talk on radios, and chat with their supporters on a walkie-talkie app called Zello.
We have a good group. We got about 30, 40 of us. We're sticking together and sticking to the plan. Y'all, we're 1 block away from the Capitol now. I'm probably going to go silent when I get there because I'm going to be a little busy.
So, Haley, what did your investigation reveal about the Oath Keepers' actions at the January 6th riot?
I think, you know, one thing that was a huge question after this occurred was how organized was this event that actually happened? Was there a plan? And, you know, one thing we found is there were a lot of, you know, individual radicalized Trump supporters who were involved, but we also tracked several groups that, you know, clearly came to the Capitol prepared to do something, as is evidenced by the body armor, by the communication, and that includes both the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. And we saw several moments where these groups appeared to kind of instigate actions within this crowd of individualized Trump supporters. So a moment where a Proud Boy notices, you know, a key doorway where there's only 2 police standing and drives the rest of the crowd there. Or a moment where Oath Keepers kind of lead a push inside the building and are urging the crowd on to force, you know, police out of the way. So certainly this was a very combustible mix of actors that we found that day. And there's been evidence that we've, you know, found since online where these groups are, you know, bragging about the fact that they were able to kind of instigate the thousands of other Trump supporters that were there, which was certainly a very dangerous combination.
Yeah, it's really incredible how much video footage came from the rioters themselves. You know, on that note, I mean, Capitol Police officers were vastly outnumbered on January 6th and quickly lost control of the Capitol.
When the building is breached, Glover knows he needs to retreat and seeks advice from Capitol leaders.
I need a command official from Capitol so we can coordinate where they want us to pull back to. We cannot hold this without more munitions or more manpower.
But Capitol don't respond. He asks 4 times.
I need to know from Capitol where do they want to go back to?
Then the police lose the line.
There's a picture, we lost the line. We lost the line. RMPD, pull back.
Haley, what did the Times investigation tell you about how control of the Capitol was eventually regained?
It was very clear to us analyzing these videos that the resources were not there when this attack on the Capitol began. Most of the officers that you see and the officer that you hear in the clip you just saw were not there when the day started. Those officers you see in heavy riot gear, the officer you hear on the radio is from Metropolitan Police, not Capitol Police. So those were, the local DC police officers that came later on to help in the day. And certainly, what we saw in terms of how they finally got the Capitol back was that the numbers and the authorization to use force that they needed only came later on in the day when Metropolitan Police, the FBI, ATF started arriving, and they were able to use crowd control weapons that were more powerful. That Capitol Police, who were originally, set at the barricades where people broke through, did not have, at the start of the day, did not have access to or authorization to use in many cases.
Just incredible footage and incredible work by your team, Haley, and I encourage our viewers to go ahead and watch that, as hard as it may be to watch. It's really critical. So thank you so much for your reporting and for joining us. Haley Willis, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.